No, I don't want.
Welcome back, y'all. It's your boy Melly, and I got another reaction for y'all. But before we get into that, make sure you like the video. It helps us tremendously in the algorithm. And subscribe. That's all I ask for. And if I don't get the subscription right now, make sure you're subscribed at the end, bro. I messed that up. But hey, we about to get into this reaction, man. It's by FD Signifier, but this is his second channel, Signified B Sides. His main channel got some long video essays that I listen to and watch a lot of. He makes some good content, educational content, entertaining content. But on his B Sides channel, the video is a little bit shorter, so I can react to him for y'all. I'm not gonna react to something. I know he made like a 3-hour long Drake and Kendrick. Not Drake. Yeah, Drake and Kendrick. What am I talking about? Video, bro. And it was great breaking down the beef, gave it history on both of them from when they started till now, and telling the whole beef. But it's 3-hour video. What else do you expect? But some good content. This is a 17-minute video on Ishowspeed. Now, Ishowspeed, I've seen his clips. I've never really tuned into a live stream. I know he's done some wild stuff on camera, and that he's a big Cristiano fan. He did a collab with Kai. I know small stuff. Mostly what I hear about him is controversy. FD Signifier do a good job of giving history and breakdown. So I'm gonna tap in, see if I can learn a little something about Speed and why he's a clown, and for whatever reason, it's okay. So let's see what FD Signifier got to say. Light work.
So, Ishowspeed is a 19-year-old streamer who has risen to fame as a clown, and respectfully a clown, right? Like some would say.
All right, I see why he popular though, bro. If you tuning into somebody live stream, if you watch the live stream at all, you gotta be constantly entertaining, and you're not gonna grow if you don't got a niche. I feel like he just found his own thing, which we'll see. We'll see if he actually do some clown behavior. I think we know he is, but like let's go.
Let's say, and that's also fair. But I'm starting to think that clown is a better term, and this is evidence of me softening on the discourse around Ishowspeed. And if that sounds ridiculous to you, just let me get to the end of the video. There's a lot of discourse in the Black Twitter, YouTube, media, social media streets about Ishowspeed's persistent behavior since he was a teenager and his rise to fame because of that behavior for a good reason. He, along with people like Kai Cenat, represent a complex challenge for Black identity and representation in modern media. This is something that some of my peers such as Turb, Lil Bill, Redux City, and others have discussed in the past, pointing out the inherent problem of how their over-the-top and often buffoonish behavior is impossible to disentangle from their Black skin and their large white audiences. Both Speed and Kai Cenat have on more than a few occasions crossed the line between being Black entertainers and being minstrels, along with other moments of, let's say, bad optics and bad takes. Speed on many.
Now, when he say minstrel, I know what he alluding to. I'm gonna let y'all look that up, but again, they have young audiences. If you want to have a big audience in America, per se, where white people are the majority, you're gonna have a lot of young white kids watching you. But that's not to say that it's not young Black kids that look up to them and now want to be streamers and or YouTubers. And if they want to go in that lane, most of them probably figure out that you can't go out doing what Kai and Speed are doing. You're gonna have to find your own lane. Like, but again, they got super young audiences, so I don't think it's that deep for kids per se. But I'm gonna let them cook.
in occasion in his earlier years would say some pretty shitty stuff about women or to women online, and just kind of like really, I hate to say it, very typical teenage behavior in online gaming spaces.
What? What? Bitch is a bitch.
And then Kai Cenat has had more than a few moments that are questionable, specifically his recent comments about like Black Americans not having any culture, as he is clearly a product of Black American culture.
That nigga is black. You're black. You're just black. You're just fully American. You're African American, bro. That's it.
But we're trying to be nice this video. I'm trying to be nice to the young folks, be nice to the babies. Nice.
And this is also is the thing about being live as your primary form of entertainment. Because if that just had been him recording a regular video of him gaming or something, and he have an outtake like this, he could edit it out, right? Somebody could say, "Hey, are you sure you want that Black people have no culture thing in there?" Which Black people clearly have culture. It was just a bad take, bro. And and when you live like that, you're gonna have bad takes. So I'm gonna shoot Kai some bail, but also in the same note, like, come on, man. You know who's copied the most by everyone in the world? Just Black people. But let's keep going.
Nice to the babies. I'm too old to be fighting the young people like I sometimes do. So I'm trying to set an example. And that's because lately I've been trying to be more empathetic to the reality of what they're doing. And that they're doing something that didn't exist, only 5-6 years ago, because like they're only about 5-6 years deep into their careers. And we haven't set any standards or set any expectations as to what these careers are supposed to be. And for Speed in particular, it seems like he's cleaned up his act a little bit. He's been a little less overtly ridiculous on stream and been more about being this over-the-top character traveling the world. I hadn't paid much attention to this type of content. Obviously, it's not for me until I saw this clip of Speed barking at a dog.
Porsches are over there. No, I don't want to see Porsche.
And this is just plain funny. If you didn't laugh at this, that's a you problem in my perspective.
Like,
this is a
because I know this video is supposed to be serious. I'm not really in a comedic mood. It's goofy, bro. But like, I've had the experience of going to big schools most of my life and seeing a lot of different personalities. So I've ran into some speeds in my time. Just say that. So to see somebody doing this is like, it's funny. You got a smirk out of me, but like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's funny to somebody.
A full ass human being out barking a dog and the dog like saying you got it. That's funny to me. If you have a single silly bone left in your body from your youth, then you laugh. And what I get from moments like these, which are pretty typical with Speed, is that that's his ultimate goal, to make people laugh. And while it's impossible not to be faced with the constrictions of race when you're acting as a clown, which we'll get to in a moment, there's a purity to this that I think we should spend more time to appreciate and maybe pull back a little bit on the hypercritical lens that we look at this through. Because it hit me while watching this that if Speed were white, his behavior wouldn't bother me the way it sometimes does. And I know this because Speed is not the first character of his kind. In fact, he is the latest in a lot of modern public gesture figures going back decades at this point. And reminds me a lot of a specific popular figure from when I was his age.
This is the Tom Green Show. It's not the Green Tom Show. This is my favorite show because it's my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more than me. That's just this was your show. But it's not your show. It's the Tom Green Show.
Tom Green is a weird Canadian comedian.
Like, I've never, because I feel like I got like aunties and uncles like around his age, like I'm like a brother close to his age. Like, what What is this, bro? I've never seen this. I've never seen one of them ever bring up this show. Like, this is so niche of a show to bring up. Like, I'm thinking he gonna say like literally anybody else, but this random Canadian show, bro. Come on, dog. It's a crazy pull.
Who, somewhat like Speed, specialized in drawing out laughter through bizarre public behavior with his over-the-top antics, anti-humor moments, pranks, stunts, and a pathological need to just never be normal in public, just like ever.
You know
like
what it
I don't
was?
think
I thought he
he
was
ever
gonna say something like Jackass or something, but because he didn't use a black person, so I'm like them boys, like something like that, where they out in the public doing goofy all the time and stunts and shit.
broke character.
Work really hard on this one. Check this out.
Green started out with a bizarre public access show that somehow got the attention of MTV and then became an MTV night show. And this was basically the spiritual successor to the Eric Andre show.
You just got to eat the lettuce. It's right, just straight up eat the lettuce.
Like, there probably is not an Eric Andre show without Tom Green. And there's probably some other examples that I'm forgetting for those like hardcore media types that know this stuff. Shout out to Nicholas Nameless. I know he's going to correct me and say, actually, the Insert Here show was the first one. But for now, we're just going to give the credit to Tom Green. From there, Green got into other forms of media, such as comedy rap, a few movies, but over time his appeal kind of wore off. His audience that found him funny in the late 90s and early 2000s was a little too old for him by the 2010s, and so he faded away, which will probably eventually happen to Kai and Speed as their audiences age and they have to figure out what they're going to do next, which is not like a shade. It's just the natural progression of youth-oriented media figures. Now, Speed and Green aren't exactly the same, and again, Speed's blackness and like his physical presence specifically are inherent parts of his appeal. There's something to the fact that Speed is not a small guy, unlike Kai Cenat, no shade. And like Speed low-key is a world-class athlete. Like in another life, Ishowspeed is playing cornerback for Ohio State right now. He is legitimately a world-class athlete, which is something he showcases in a lot of his content.
But this is so crazy, bro. That is so crazy. So if I'm gonna show my age, because when I was a kid, it was a fake video of Kobe Bryant jumping over a Lamborghini. But the fact that he actually did it a few times, or even just one time, is insane. Because I watched a video a couple weeks ago where somebody did this like on a European show or something, and they ended up darn near a vegetable paraplegic because they tried this stunt. So shout out to him. Boy got buddies.
Overall formula for this type of media is the same, and a similar thing could be said for figures like Andy Dick and Pauly Shore, and before then Andy Kaufman, and probably plenty of others I'm not aware of that have been doing this same type of content, this same type of having the same media personality for decades, a generation probably. And yes, all of these guys were controversial at times and had haters who were not fans of their antics. But like most white men, they were allowed to just be representative of themselves in those antics. And Speed and Cenat don't have that privilege. They're arguably the most visible and popular young black men in the world right now, at least from a specific vantage point. And they are not just expected, but low-key required to be representative of all young black men. Their actions and inactions speak for black people, whether we want them to or not, whether they want to or not. And this flared up recently when Kai mentioned on stream that I guess the Kamala Harris campaign had been reaching out to him to get her on his stream, and he refused, stating that he doesn't know anything about politics. And this, of course, wasn't a problem for the lesser white streamer Aiden Ross, who just days before this had Donald Trump.
Because L pause, but yeah, bro. But I'm glad I got it right here though. Because why would you, regardless of political affiliation, put yourself in politics and you don't know anything about politics? And I feel like that's just like the blind leading the blind. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the most political savvy brother on the planet either. But I'm not like if I'm not informed, why am I having you on my platform? And you know I don't know anything about that. And I know that they know he doesn't know anything about her political policy. He couldn't recite nothing that she wants to do or nothing that the Democratic Party stands for, probably. Because I really didn't know at his age, bro. Like, or Speed's age. Like, I was just playing football, going to school. Like, I didn't care because whoever was the president, it really didn't change my life immediately at the moment. Now, as I'm older, yeah, I know what my vote can do. And that really don't click in until you like, I feel like in your around your mid to late 20s, where you could really sit down and see the world. You out of school, you got a job. Like the economy is directly affecting you. So that's just goofy, bro. That's so goofy because I guarantee you Aiden Ross can't recite none of Donald Trump policy besides I'm rich and he gonna give me tax breaks. Which, if that's all you know, cool. But you putting him like it's just goofy, bro. Because I guarantee he probably don't even know who this is. Like he don't even know who this is. He like, what? I gotta show up where, when? All right, bet. I'm pull up. Add Reese your name? Like, come on, man.
Donald Trump on his stream. Even as Kai Cenat says that he doesn't know anything about politics and he doesn't want to be political, that statement in and of itself is political. Because let's be clear, Cenat's desire to remain apolitical is not just because, oh, I'm so dumb, I don't know politics. It's because he knows that being political as a black man will cost him. Would Aiden Ross lose some viewers for having Donald Trump on his stream? Probably, but it won't be all that significant for him. He'll survive at the lower level that he's at regardless. But Kai and others similar to him like KSI and Marquise Brown Lee and Corey Kenshin, they are avoiding the responsibility and burden of addressing black struggle within their content. The ugly truth is that there are consequences that occur when black people in the public eye dare to overtly engage with the reality of their inherently political existence. The pro-blackness in me wishes they would make the sacrifice to do that work, especially since for guys like Cenat and like Corey Kenshin, their blackness is very clearly an explicit value add to their media careers within this particular medium of the streamer, like reviewer, content creation world. A connection to black and hip hop culture, a genuine connection, is a part of the currency that has made them stars. It's why Kai Cenat is bigger than Aiden Ross. They both have pretty much the exact same type of, lowbrow, antics based content, but Kai Cenat being black makes it a little more pure to his audience. This is why it's a problem. But I'm not going there today. For Corey Kenshin, this isn't quite the same, but still it allows him to stand out amongst his white peers. The gaming world is a little different than the hip hop streaming podcast world, but it still has the same overall core factors. And the reason why they should go ahead and do it is because it's not like they're escaping the challenges of race regardless by ignoring them. To give credit where it's due, Corey Kenshin was bold enough to speak on his experiences of bias firsthand a few years ago when he made that video pointing out the differences in the way that he's been treated compared to his white peers who often make the exact same type of content on YouTube. And Kai has been the target of, let's say, racially charged negative attention from many of his competitors on a few occasions, let alone the negative attention that his hip hop adjacent persona brings. When he did his little giveaway event that turned...
And this is why I feel like it's not the place for a content creator in this space where they are being comedic and entertaining if they don't want to be. I say leave it to those who want to speak on it. Because let's say they do the work. If they're gonna do the work and sit down, do their research on policy, on politics, on these candidates, and pick a side, fine. But I don't think they should just do it for the sake of doing it, because we got another person, like I said before, a blind leading the blind. So if they don't want to do it, I don't want them standing up for the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or, super far left, super far right, beyond Republican, Democrat. So I think they should do exactly what they're doing unless they want to sit down, do the homework, do the research, and talk about it and be able to articulate it to somebody, not in a debate, but just be able to articulate it. But if they can't do that, they should continue doing what they're doing, entertaining, being successful. Because I'm happy for two black creators, young black creators, being successful. I don't think it's in their hands to be doing politics.
That turned into riots in New York City a few years back, an event that definitely had its fair share of white participants. The coverage in response to it was clearly colored with the fact that he had assembled so many unruly BIPOC youth.
The NYPD saying the crowds, made up of mostly underage kids, went from unruly to violent fast.
It's not that the political elements of his existence don't affect them, it's that he's choosing to ignore them for the sake of keeping his bag full. And this is one of the reasons why I'm finding a little newfound respect for Speed. Speed is no political actor, but he's developed his public persona in a way that has managed to touch on certain issues around race in a really organic way. The Euro trip he took over this summer cleverly put on blast the ways in which he's racially profiled and dehumanized by his white audiences, even as a famous rich streamer. Whether it be being called the N-word by people that proclaim to be his fans.
How do you say book in Bulgarian?
What? What? See, this is where it's going too far. This is where it's going too far. And I know they don't even know what the word mean. Like, they don't even know what they saying or the history behind it, bro. And they just proudly, with a smile on their face, fans of this man. Hell nah, dog. Hell nah. I look at the glee on their face.
Wait, nigga! Bro, no, bro, I can't keep doing this shit.
Or having white mobs try to rip out his hair just to get a piece of him. He's also been surprisingly outspokenly pro-Palestine in the way that no one in his lane has been.
Man. W's in the chat.
But again, he does it subtly without making it an overt political statement. He's not grandstanding on that belief. He's just making it a part of his content. So I'm of two minds with all of these guys. In the perfect ideal world, them being black wouldn't come with such a explicit social burden. That's literally what we're fighting for, self-determination. That's it. So I won't deny that to these guys. But I also feel it necessary to point out that we won't get to that point without sacrifice from everyone involved, especially those who have managed to attain power and influence. And it doesn't have to be much, just a bit of effort. I'm not expecting them to do some of the content I do or other cornbread to people. We're limiting our reach based on those politics, and that is what it is. And that's choices that we all make willfully. But like a sprinkling of this shit, or at least know enough not to say shit like Kai Cenat said when he said Black Americans don't have culture.
You're not Ghanaian. You're not Dominican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Cuban. You are American.
I farted so loud.
And that's why I don't think you should be speaking on politics, bro. And unless he show general interest. I'm not gonna repeat everything exactly what I said, but stuff like this is why I should be like, you know what, he stay in his lane. He's been extremely successful. Happy for dog. Ecstatic for dog. He given a positive role model for somebody to look up to. Being a streamer. It's not a rapper, not a drug dealer, not nothing. Even if you want to just be a content creator. People creating clips channels, people streaming his streams, like creating opportunity for young kids. So I'm gonna say that he could be in that lane, but saying stuff like this, you know, is gonna come with his controversy.
I don't want them giving speeches. I don't want them, trying to become like political streamers when they don't know what they're talking about. But a little more acknowledgement.
Okay, we on the same page. You know what I'm saying? We on the same page. Feel me? I thought you was losing me. You had me in the first half, but you was losing me.
Like what Speed is doing would be valuable. And at the same time, I feel as an elder, my role shouldn't be to just like lecture and pass judgment. That's why I feel like there should be more crossover with older Black media figures with these younger ones. I don't expect truly great politics to be produced between a conversation with like Kai Cenat and Joe Button or something. But I think it would be overall a good thing if not just create a better bond between hip hop's aging era who have a decent understanding of certain Black issues and the youth who truly drive culture today. And thus we have to rely on them to carry on those traditions. Because Kai is only 22, Speed is 19. These are adults, right? But to anyone who's over the age of 30, as you hear my knuckles crack by saying adults, you know that these are still very much boys. They have no clue about most of the things they're doing or about the world in general. And they're just kind of building a plane as they fly it and emerging as these major figures in media when a couple of years ago they were in their own rooms in their houses just streaming video games. And don't get me wrong, I do want folks like Turb and Reduxity and people who are in their age demographic to continue to critique them and hold them to account. But it's also important to imagine a future where these guys exist and like grow beyond their station. Yes, everything that happens and exists on the internet is permanent and people will always want to hold you to whatever your worst take was. But that doesn't have to be exactly where you exist in perpetuity. I never thought I'd be making a somewhat positive video about Ishowspeed, but that's the power of time and growth. Speaking of growth, my ambitions as a creator are growing. It's likely that most of you have watched or at least heard about my behemoth video analyzing and explaining the cultural and
man, we
historical
touched on
significance
that
of
in the beginning, man. Good plug, good plug. Video long as shit though. Entertaining. Longer than a Marvel movie. Entertaining though. I had to watch it in like 3 parts.
recent beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. That video is my most watched video ever, and it's shown me what is possible when I have time and resources to make my videos into more than just some shit I post on YouTube. The video
you ain't gonna get me, bruh. You ain't gonna get me, bruh. I'm gonna link the full video so everybody can tap into that, but you ain't gonna get me, bruh. Hey, shout out, yeah, you ain't gonna get me with that one. But hey, shout out to Kai, shout out to Speed, man. 2 Black creators. I don't want to be on their level of popularity, but I do want to get extremely successful at YouTube. And I'm proud of them. I don't know them from a can of paint. I don't know how they is behind closed doors. I never met them. Didn't know much about Speed, but I didn't know he went over there and he was supporting Free Palestine and all that. You know what I'm saying? Good for him. He kind of called him a clown in like a term of endearment type of way, if you can say that. But hey, man, great video by FD Signifier. I'm gonna leave a link to the video under this one. Subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to both channels. Subscribe to this channel. And like the video if you want to see more reactions, man. It's been your boy Melly, and I'm about to get us up out of here, coach.